What is good, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Chad, bringing y'all another video, man. And happy New Year's to you guys. We are in 2022. It's crazy, man. It's weird that we're in 2022, just based off the fact that 2020 was a blur. 2021 has been a blur, partly because we just been in COVID for all these 2 years now. It's like I'm legit lost. Like every day I wake up and I'm like, what did we really do in 2020 and 2021 besides pedal fear and pedal viruses and all that? And it's like, I woke up to truth. I accepted Jesus and God. And besides that, I've been trying to spread knowledge and wisdom and all that to everybody else. For those who want to take it, those who don't, I could really care less. But this video, this is just going to be just like a let's talk part 4. I usually like to do these when I just have some questions that personally I think you guys might have too. So I was watching Tim Cass IRL video today, and they were talking about how Aaron Rodgers is now coming forth saying that, the NFL is doing COVID treatments that he did himself. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about those. What I'll do is you'll probably see like an annotation right here about, the Aaron Rodgers types of video. I think I did drop an Aaron Rodgers video on my channel. If I could find it, like I said, the annotation to be up there. But in the video, he was basically like, yo, and this is something I have been saying myself because as you guys know, I have been getting striked on my channel left and right or suspended for a week and 2 weeks because of this exact reason. So he was saying how the science is changing. The science is changing so much, and so much is coming out from like whether it's Aaron Rodgers or let's say even Kyrie Irving. We all know Kyrie, and I'll put up an annotation for that video I did. We all know that Kyrie did not want to be vaccinated to play in the NBA for the Brooklyn Nets. They said, well, since you're not getting vaccinated, you can't play at home or away games. We don't even want you to practice with the team. So he's not playing. All of a sudden, all the vaccinated players who were on the team, all are getting COVID. And so many of them got COVID that they're actually calling Kyrie back to come play. So now Kyrie's coming back to the NBA to come play because they're realizing, well, we told him he can't play because he's not vaccinated, but all the people who are vaccinated are now getting COVID and they can't play. So we need someone to play. So they call Kyrie. Like, do y'all see that? It doesn't make sense. And then, like I said, I've been suspended for things that are just like, I'm reading directly. I tell you guys stuff directly from the CDC's website. I give you guys straight truth out of Fauci's mouth. Like, I post a video on the screen like Fauci literally says these words. Like, the words literally escape out the horse's mouth. And YouTube says, medical misinformation. Now, I kid you not, I don't really know that much about YouTube's policies or their rules. But when it comes to this medical misinformation, way back in the way when I got my first strike, I was like, nah, I'm not going for this. So I went through my little YouTube, looked up what the medical misinformation that they're talking about is, read it, and it was like, the last time it was updated was like, I don't know, maybe June 2020, and yet we're still following rules from then. And I'm like, yo, like, how is YouTube gonna punish people and suspend people or say this is, and what I noticed is they take everything, like, okay, this is all the, okay, when they had mainstream media, they could all push the same narrative. No one would care. Now that it's alternative sources and people have YouTube videos and podcasts and all that, it's like there's so much news and information coming out every day where the science is this today, but tomorrow is different, and it was this then, and then now it's this now, and it was this an hour ago, and now it's this. And it's like, we get suspended for it or given a strike when we literally, like I said, are saying exactly what Fauci says, showing what the CDC says, showing what these athletes are doing or saying, and they're punishing us for it like we are making up this stuff. And they're calling it misinformation. But yet, when it comes to Fauci, And all these government officials and stuff, they can say these things and then come out later. Dang, this thing's getting a little, keeps on making me too bright. They can come out with their whole, what is the word for it? Like own synopsis of what's going on, and then come back later and correct themselves. And nobody sees that as anything being wrong. But when it comes to us content creators who are literally just delivering the news that they deliver to us and show you guys how, nah, this doesn't really make sense, then we're misinformation. And it's like it's like they just said, you know what, instead of us actually going through and listening to these creators and looking at the information that they're providing, we're just gonna say anyone on YouTube who talks about blah blah blah, loop that into medical misinformation and we'll keep it pushing. And it's like what they fail to realize is that when they do things like this on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook and stuff like that, it doesn't it doesn't really silence the point of we're going to censor these people so no one will find out. It's like it more so adds a stamp of approval that what they're saying is true. You know what I mean? Like, it would be one thing if they let what we say stay up on the platforms or give you guys something to think about, and then people could use their own brains to make their own decisions about, is this information that Chad is spitting out to us, is this reliable? And then from there, you guys can make that decision. But instead, it's like they're trying to be like the overlords of, can you handle this? Like, this information, it goes against everything that you knew yesterday or last week. Are you sure you can handle this? You know what? We think that this information may be dangerous and it may misinform some people or contradict some narratives. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna give this video a strike, take it off their channel, tell them that's a bad content creator, and then nothing else will, no one else would think about it. But it's like, even when they do stuff like this, like, they can suspend me and give me a strike every single time and say, you know what, that's medical misinformation. Like I said in my video about me getting a strike, I literally put every single link from the CDC site. Now, when I made the video, I didn't need to look at the CDC site to know this information. Like, the CDC has been saying this. The people who speak for the CDC has been saying this stuff, and they're saying it's misinformation. And what's confusing to me is just like how Tim said in his video. He's like, I don't even know what's true at this point. Like, everything's been so fractured. Health has been fractured where it's political. Science is political. These celebrities aren't even really celebrities anymore because COVID affects them. It's like, what is true and what's not? And that's been my main problem with this whole, pandemic or whatever. It's like, we're all fighting to get this truth out. So imagine it's like different people on the front line, right? You have all your little members of the troop, and they're on the front lines fighting the war. But you have some random general or lieutenant who's like, nah, they're not doing what they're supposed to do on the front lines. That's not really what's happening. This country isn't really fighting us. It's these people who are attacking us. Nah, they didn't really execute that mission. And the people on the front lines are like, yo, we're out here on the front lines seeing what's going on. How are you going to tell us what we see is what we don't see, what we hear is what we don't hear? What is said is not being said. Like, we are here doing the work. And that's what I see happening all around us. It's like the mainstream media, they grab this one point and they say, it's like they have a feeding tube. They put the feeding tube to all the people and they try to force the same meal every day, even though they're like, this is a hamburger. And yet on the sign in the background, it says it's pizza. And they're like, no, it's a hamburger and we're going to force feed you this. And everybody's like, we're not going for this. Like, at this point, like, just like Tim said in the video, it's like, what is real and what is not? What is the true science? Any scientist that go against the narrative, silenced. Anybody who goes against, not even contradicts, contradicts the narrative, silenced. Anyone who shows exactly what the CDC has on their site, silenced. Anyone who says exactly what Fauci says, silenced. Tim and them, they brought up a good point from the movie. I don't know if you all have seen, it's a movie called Don't Look Up. Leonardo DiCaprio plays in it, Jennifer Lawrence. It's new. It's on Netflix. I definitely recommend that you guys check it out. It's a lot of hidden little meanings in there. But at one point, spoiler, if you don't want to see this, I'll put the time frame for you to skip to.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
You know, at one point in the movie, the main character, Leon DiCaprio's character, was like, yo, I'm trying to tell them that this comet is coming to destroy the planet, but they are firing and censoring all the other scientists around us who don't agree with them that the comet's coming to hit the earth when I've already proven to them that it will. And at that point, it's just like, and he gets mad on the TV show when he's doing like a little interview, and he's like, I'm telling the truth. Stop making everything a joke. Stop firing people who are trying to tell you this, who go against what you think or your narrative. Like, this is the truth. Stop censoring us. Like, we're trying to help. You would think at this point, YouTube and all these other social media platforms would just remove the guidelines for the pandemic or misinformation and all that, you know, because it changes so rapidly that there is no way that there are people at YouTube who can actually genuinely go through and see who's actually spreading real misinformation and who's giving true facts. What they're doing is, I guarantee at YouTube, there is a computer programmer who has a program on YouTube for an algorithm. If these, like, it literally is probably a program that says, if these words are mentioned, that video gets censored, that video gets silenced, that person gets their video with a strike, gets suspended. Because I've been, like I said, I keep getting suspended, not even suspended, but getting a strike on my channel. It's so many videos I put up that are like, ooh, like, you got a little risky there, Chad. But there are other ones that are just like, I'm literally saying what they're telling us. I'm literally saying what they're telling us, and it doesn't even matter. Like, I can literally repeat Fauci word for word and they'll say misinformation. So it makes me think, like, is what Fauci's saying medical misinformation too? I'll literally read the CDC website and they'll say misinformation. Is what the CDC is saying medical misinformation? But the mainstream media is not censored. And then they can't even, like, I don't know how you can differentiate it doesn't even matter, man. I just thought that was a really good point when I watched Tim Cat's video. Like, the science has changed so much, and what they said is true, and what celebrities are coming out saying they've done, or what they say behind the scenes is happening at the NFL, the NBA, what we see happening done to Kyrie, what we see happening done to Aaron Rodgers and Joe Rogan. It's just like, how can anything that the establishment or mainstream media is saying be true? Because it's like they're trying to have a monopoly on truth, but it changes every day to where we're at the point where when the monopoly is showing the truth, they have to change their narrative to match what it is next. So like they say, okay, this is not an Apple computer, this is an Android, this is a PC. And then it comes out that this is in fact the Apple computer, and they don't even apologize and say, well, we're sorry, we misled you guys, we should have done better research. They just come out and say, no, that's not. Why are you going to listen to anyone who tells you this is a Mac computer? This is a PC still. And then you have different content creators coming out saying, Apple just showed that they released a new Mac with this logo. And they say, no, that's still a PC. That's still a PC. And you know what? For that video of you saying that that's a Mac, even though you read Apple's site and saw the exact computer that you have on Apple's site, you're getting suspended. Your video is getting a strike. Don't you say that again. And it's like, I don't know how many analogies I'm going to come up with for this, but you understand the point, man. I just thought I would make this video because I'm just like, it's changed so much. Like, Tim really had a good point. Like, the science has changed so much. And it's not like this is the first time I'm noticing this. It's just like, to hear someone else say it out loud, who's a content creator, who kind of reports on this stuff, and he's genuinely getting confused too. Like, he knows the guidelines, and he's like, they're outdated, which I also think. But he's like, there's no way anyone can actually stick to these guidelines when the guidelines aren't even reflecting the new information that's available, which tells that YouTube technically doesn't know. They just have a big ban on certain things that are misinformation. So yeah, man, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. As always, thank you guys for watching. Happy New Year's again. I hope 22 is great to you all. And I'm out. Peace.